Welcome to another episode of Talking Shop. I've got a couple of my buddies here with me today. I've got Rocky Ziegler, who actually just came in from Illinois, right?
Yep.
Drove on over from Illinois today to talk shop. And then my buddy Isaiah, who this is not his first time on the show, the first returning guest on Talking Shop, came in, and we've been kind of talking about some things, and I thought I'd get the cameras rolling and wanted to, you've got three people here at kind of different stages of careers and different stages of business. So I wanted to kind of take some time and talk about mainly why you two started your RIAs, kind of where you are in that process, and then some of the things that you're doing and you're excited about as far as growing. Just giving some of the advisors out there some excitement about what you guys are doing and maybe they should be copying, and then also give you guys a little plug for the consumers out there who might be looking for a financial advisor. So we'll roll with Isaiah. We'll save Rocky for a second. Tell us a little bit about your RIA. You just kind of started it, why you left, and kind of all those things.
Yeah, sure. So started ID Financial Planning and Wealth Management. Probably not the most creative name, but it really gets a point across as far as
Isaiah Douglas. So that's the idea behind it.
Okay.
And I will link to all of these guys' stuff down below.
So ID stands for, in a way, Isaiah Douglas, because it's a good way with initials, but also like identifying, and it ties into really the model that I wanted to go after, which was net worth. So starting with planning and explain to someone that, my job and the job of the firm is to grow their net worth, regardless of whether that is something where it's, investments that are managed or they're reinvesting in their business. And that really came about because I have a passion and a focus and a niche around dental and veterinary practitioners. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times for those folks, they understand and know that model, and they can see opportunities within their own business to maybe expand and grow. And I wanted to encourage that and not get into that issue of like, oh, for me and my business to do well, I need them to, park money with me. Mm-hmm. And so with that, really wanted to tie in the idea of planning first and then being responsible around the way the assets are managed for them to grow.
Okay. So you've got somebody charging net worth fee, which is probably something that a lot of people don't know about. I just want to kind of point out similarities and differences between our businesses, just to give, again, for the advisors watching, there's different ways to structure your business. I'm a big believer in being genuine and authentic, so if you believe in one way, set your business up that way, and you can have success. It'll attract people. But also want to talk about differences as well, so we just kind of let people know. And so,
Absolutely.
So give us your story, Rocky. So you're real fresh on the RIA side.
Yeah, started, I think it was October 23rd
Okay.
was when I actually got registered with the state of Illinois. So, it's only been a couple of months. I guess the main reason I started it was I wanted more transparency in how I did business. I remember thinking how cool it would be to actually have my fee structure on the website, so people could go on there and say, oh, that's what he's charging.
Right.
Good luck trying to go to a lot of firms' websites and finding out what it's going to cost you to do business there. So I wanted more transparency. I also really enjoy creating content. I started a blog about a year ago, and I just kind of ran with it, and since then I've actually written 2 books.
Two? I knew one.
Yeah.
So one of the things that kickstarted me into going RIA was I actually wrote a book about ETFs and mutual funds and the differences between the structures and the tax efficiencies, and passive and active were kind of interwoven in there. And FINRA actually told me I could not use it because it was sales literature. So that kind of got me thinking, like, well, isn't that our job to kind of like, analyze investments for people to a certain extent and really dig into it and find out what your philosophy is and what you like and all that kind of stuff. So it was sort of an eye-opener for me. So that, that kind of kicked me in the butt to kind of start looking at some different structures. And so, I launched a couple of months ago. It's been really great. It's been kind of a whirlwind for the last couple of months. So
Well, it's good. It'll be a whirlwind for a little. I remember the beginning, like the first 2 months maybe, being up till 3 a.m. I never watched Game of Thrones before, so I figured I'm going to be doing all this paperwork processing. Here's my chance to get into it. I never got into it, but starting the business and trying to be on the cheap, I think this is funny, which is why I share. Instead of buying an actual scanner, I went cheap, and I'm going to go see my clients at the house. I bought one of those portable scanners. Oops. So I had to feed each application one page at a time through this thing. So
you couldn't even put a stack and just let it
go.
Oh,
one page at a time. So I would put a page through and do some work. Page through, do some work. I had Game of Thrones on. I remember those days. But I'll tell you what, as corny as this sounds, like I was the happiest I've ever been staying up till 3 a.m. And I just viewed each page that went through kind of as a brick in the foundation of my firm. So I was actually excited to do all that. Granted, I would have loved to have been more efficient and just feed it through. But it will continue to be that way for a while, but then it'll smooth out, and you'll kind of be where Isaiah is as far as in the RAA firm. Like, you've been doing the business longer, but Isaiah is a few months ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're kind of past that startup, getting everybody over, and now you're kind of on the growth. So Isaiah, what are you doing to grow ID, the brand, and then the recognition? Kind of, what are you doing? What's your approach to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rocky talked about, I've never written a book. Long term, maybe that's a goal, right? We'll see how that goes. But from the standpoint of putting out content, be able to write and express your views as far as what you believe and how you work with clients is really important. So have a blog where I write and publish that content. Working on, especially 2019, this is the year for me for video, so obviously a great start here.
Right,
but
okay.
Interviewing and talking to other professional partners I work with that complement what I do for dentists and vets to really bring that knowledge out. So really creating that YouTube channel and being able to have that content readily accessible for those folks. And then continuing to do just events and knowledge types of...
I'm popular today. This is what happens when I don't edit videos,
Yeah.
so this is staying in there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no. So it's just working with like local dental societies and the same on the vet space of going and speaking and just explaining to them the differences between advisors, how people operate, and what does financial planning look like, and what doesn't it look like, and what's financial sales and what's financial planning. So for me, it's all about education. Something I appreciate about you, Justin, is really helping people understand the differences there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me, it's just really honing in on that niche and helping them understand what the difference can be.
All right.
So.
Well, and you told me about something you're working on that I'm pretty excited about. So I'm just going to put a little teaser out there that make sure you're following Isaiah, because in the future, maybe not near future, but in the future, there's going to be a pretty good series of posts coming out. So we'll just tease that and make sure you follow him.
Yeah.
What about you, Rocky?
Keep me accountable too, to make sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's out there. You have that. That's why I do some of the posts I do. Is if I put it out there, now I got to do it because I told everybody about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Rocky? How are you? So you got the book. So you have
Yeah.
a blog. What else
Yep.
are you doing to kind of grow?
I'm really excited to get a podcast going.
Okay.
I feel like everybody's got one, but it's I feel like there's FinTwit and then there's non-FinTwit.
Right.
It seems like FinTwit, everyone's got a blog, a podcast, whatever. But outside of it, I don't know any other advisors that really do. So that's one of the things I'm going to get going this year. Haven't gravitated over towards the video thing. I'm more interested in the podcasting thing at the moment. That's just continuing to blog. Hopefully release my first book here, or I guess release my original book that I wrote that I still haven't published yet.
Gotcha.
Got it. That's
Hopefully this spring. I still got some work to do on there, and then get the podcast going. So
You're right. We operate in this bubble of finance Twitter, and there are a lot of podcasts, a lot of people doing blogs. It seems like everybody's doing it, but that's on the micro level. So we go Gary Vee style, micro, macro. You go to the bigger picture of financial advisors in the financial planning field. To your point,
nobody does.
Very few people are, and a lot of it is the reason you left to the RIA world is they can't.
It's hard. Yeah.
So I would say I wouldn't worry about how many podcasts are out there. You're still early in the game to do it. I think video, you're still early in the game to be doing video, and really even on the written blog, it doesn't matter how many other people are doing it. You're only writing to your audience.
That's true.
And the way I look at it is I explain to people that I meet with a bunch of financial advisors because I learn from them. And I don't view you guys as competitors. I mean, I don't work in the dental or the vet space. I don't have any interest. But even if we were in the same space, I can only help so many people. Like, there's capacity to an advisor. So there are more than enough people for the three of us to help. So rather than view each other as competitors and not help each other out, let's help each other out. Let's promote each other. And now we're able to help more people collectively as a group. I forget why I started down that path, but writing the blog, who cares? There's enough people to write, and not everybody's reading the same people. And at the end of the day, your audience may not be reading me or reading Isaiah or somebody else, but they're getting the information from you. So all of this stuff is still very early, and I'm a big believer in it, obviously, because I talk about it a lot and I do it. So that's all good. So I'll link to the blogs. I'll link to all that. What's your podcast gonna be called?
I don't know yet.
All right.
Put a couple episodes and see how
I'm not
it
sure
feels,
yet,
and
yeah.
then you'll get that
I
name.
have a few ideas, neither of which are that creative. So
Okay.
we'll
That's
see.
all right.
But, yeah.
Then you know what? The name doesn't matter. You put out good content, people are going to listen.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts as we wrap up? Because I know Isaiah's got a study group to go to. You and I are going to go hit the gym because that's apparently what we do when you come visit me. And then we'll come back and record another video on other things. But any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, the biggest thing is everyone's going to digest content in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I love podcasts, and I always listen to it when I ride in the car and going to see appointments. But at the same time, I love being able to read a blog, before I go to sleep. So it just depends on where that is. So having the ability of a podcast, writing a book, and having video, it allows you to engage with people on kind of what makes sense for them. So I think it's important to find all those different channels.
So being a couple months, I'm going to change your question. So being a couple months in on the RIA side, what are you most excited for the upcoming year, aside from being able to release your first book?
Yeah. I'd say the podcast. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm excited about having some guests on. I was a communications major in college. I actually wanted to be a radio host when I first got going.
Living the dream now.
Well, and then I was like, well, if you start out, we'll make about $15,000 a year. And I was kind of like, well, I don't know if I liked it that much at the time. But yeah, so I've always wanted to do it, and I figured this is a good time. So
awesome. Well, thanks for taking some time out of your day. Obviously, thank you for driving over. We got plenty to talk about later on. But Isaiah, thanks for swinging by.
Sure.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was informational. And if you're an advisor, use these guys as templates for what you could be doing and following them. Be sure to check the show notes below this video. I'll have links to their websites, blogs, all that type of stuff so you guys can follow them. And appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next episode.